See, alright, so here we are today. We're going to go ahead and work on these front shocks on this F350. So, what I've done already is, one second, I'm going to go ahead and turn this radio off real quick so you guys can hear me. Okay, so what I've done already, I did the complete other side to kind of see where we'd be at. I have done these before, and before we go any further, there is the model number. Make sure you guys can see it. Yeah. There's the model number. So, there's a lot of these put out here. So I've already put one on splendidly. So, I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through it and kind of get you guys up to date on what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and set out the tools and show you what I'm using. And that'll kind of let you guys know where you need to start. And we'll go from there. Alright, so kind of going through it, I got a socket set, both inch and metric. Got a 3/4 inch wrench that you'll use on the assembly side. I got a good size 1/2 inch, I wouldn't call it a breaker bar, but a nice long ratcheting wrench. Forget that. Not a ratcheting wrench. Ratchet. Just ratchet. Anyways, back to the story. I got a hammer and a chisel. Doesn't need to be super sharp. And then just kind of an assortment of metric wrenches. And then a couple of pry bars. Got a big long one, that's the one I use mainly. And a sawzall. That's really what I found works best. What you'll want to do is before you do anything, I'll go ahead and kind of get this wheel off and show you guys. You want to make sure you lube these 2 points, because if you don't, you're just going to be in a lot of trouble. Alright. Okay, so what I did was I went ahead and took some of this PB Blaster right here. I'm sorry, Seafoam. I always say PB Blaster. You want this stuff. It's really good if you can get your hands on it. PB Blaster is definitely a close second. They're both better than WD-40 in my opinion. I think WD-40 doesn't do enough to bother. It's more of a lubricant than it really is. Then I didn't show you guys this. It's up in here. Now, you don't want to just spray that today. You guys want to be spraying that the day or two before. I sprayed it 2 days ago, and that really helped out a lot. So, now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the next portion of this. We're going to go ahead and remove this bottom one. So, we'll get on that. Okay guys, that one down there is an 18mm. Was an 18mm. So you're just going to want to make sure you lubricate that, because if you don't, trust me, you will shear that stud off. At least I've done it half the time, and with no lubricant. And the problem was you end up shearing it off, and I can make another video for one whenever I do shear it off. What you end up having to do is you end up having to drill that hole out after you grind it off flush. So you would come in here, you'd remove off all of this, obviously, because your stud's broken now, once you shear that nut off. And you would have just a stud just hanging there with no threads now, so now it's useless. So you gotta grind everything back flat, which is actually the easiest portion of the job. And then you have to take a center punch, hit right dead in the center of that stud. You got to go through and you got to get yourself the sharpest 5/8 inch drill bit. On top of taking this caliper off, I mean, if you're doing this, you probably have done your own brakes, so that's not a big deal. But just another pain. And then you got to drill through there, 5/8 inch hole, and then you bring a bolt through there. Now, you can bring the bolt and you can just leave the bolt sitting. And I've done it both ways. I've left it to where I just have the bolt sitting in there, or you can do the better way, which is you actually weld it a little bit on the backside. So a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other. So just essentially keep it from working its way around, I guess, from like rotating, anything like that. Essentially just holding it in place. But the biggest thing is you got to make sure if you do that you get a 5/8 inch hole and you don't waller it. Because if you waller it, it's just going to sit there and it's going to be cattywampus and it's just going to wear so terribly bad. Anyways, though, but this one came off today, so we don't have to worry about any of that. I just want you guys to know, if you need that kind of a video, I think I got a van across the road that needs shocks. It's actually an old junker we have. I can go ahead and do that on. I'll take it off, I'll drill it out, and do all that if I get enough people who need it. But honestly, it's not that hard of a job. I shouldn't say it. It's not that complicated of a job. It's just a hard job. So let's go ahead and get that off. We're gonna go ahead and tackle this top one next. That's the fun one. Scratch that. Okay, so what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to come in here with a hacksaw like I did. And you're going to want to shear that off just like that. Now, got my nostrils. Okay, so then after that you're going to need to go ahead and work on being able to get that off. So that is a 15 millimeter. Just going to put a 15 millimeter on top there. Just going to ratchet it off. Still there? Okay guys, so you got a 15 millimeter up top here, then down here on this stud right here, put yourself an 18 millimeter. This side's the easy one. Now, let's say you were doing the other side. This bolt, I mean this comes, it's not a bolt. Words, Keith. Okay, so this actually comes around this way into your spring on the other side, so that'd be on the passenger side. Drop that through it. It'll keep it from coming through, and it works perfect. So I don't need to do that here because of course it's hitting right over here. So this side's a little bit easier on that route. We'll see how much easier that is by the end. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get this off, guys, and we'll keep on going. Alright, next step is we have removed that. Let's go ahead and get this thing out of here somehow. So the good thing about them is that usually, whenever they're this old, they actually hold their position pretty well. So we can just get it going. Just like that. Just gotta keep on pushing it down somehow. Find a way, find the leverage. Do whatever you gotta do. I'm just gonna. So, okay guys, got that out. Now that that's out of there, just kind of push it over there so it doesn't accidentally go back up in that hole, like the little demon that it is. Okay. Just pull this thing off here. Okay. We're done, folks. Yeah, you want to see a bad shock. Is she good? It's like a dying snail. Oh! She kind of worked! I think she's rebuildable. Anyways, so we'll go ahead and do one more thing. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go get that hammer and that chisel. We just gotta get these rubber grommets out. And this is kind of fun. So I'm just going to take the hammer, chisel, and go up in there. Right there on the bottom there, I'm literally just going to chisel that off. You get both the top and the bottom portion. So you just get both the top and the bottom portion and you'll be fine. Alright everybody, so this is the interesting part. I'm going to try my best to be able to get you guys a good angle. I'm going to bring the wheel on over here. I'll do my best. Let's see what we got. Okay guys, try to let you guys see. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off by putting this thing together. So you guys got a washer. You want the cup up so it meets with it. Then you get these little grommet things in the package. See how it has like the little spindlies? And it's kind of flat on one portion. You want the spindlies going down into the cup. Now, you want to have everything else kind of handy right here. I left the other 3 pieces in the box. You're going to want to take it. You're going to want to put a little bit of lubricant on that stud to make sure it slides on good. Now I just go ahead and push it all the way down as far as I can, and I go ahead and get it up in that hole, and I get started pushing. And honestly guys, it's that easy. Some guys have these compressors and everything else. I don't. I just do it just like that. And as you can tell, it's right up on there. It's right up where it's supposed to be. It's right there. I mean, it's really that simple, guys. I've never seen the point for the compressors unless you're using truck shocks or something. I mean, just lubricate the stud and get it in there. I mean, even the bolt ones that go like right through, like on the Chevys and such, I mean, just move quick. Don't dilly-daddle. I mean, honestly, I think the Fords are easier to uninstall. They're harder to, I'm sorry, Ford is easier to install, harder to uninstall. But like I said, on the install, you just compress it. You can just shove it up in the stud, and it's going to start coming down. I mean, it's moving at a good clip. Just got to push it right on that stud, and as long as you've lubricated it, cleaned it off, lubricated it, it's going to go right on there. One other thing I could have done is put a little bit of this, I mean, multi-use lubricant on the, could have put that inside of the grommet. It wasn't needed. It was fine. So I mean, guys, just be mindful, be working, save yourself a few bucks. I mean, if you really want the the compressor, go for it. But I like saving a few dollars here and there so I can buy actual tools I need, not just Harbor Freight compressors and stuff. So I'll keep on putting this together and try to keep you guys posted. Alright guys, so then all you gotta do is just take this piece right here. Remember, we're now going the opposite way, so you want this pokey side facing up. Now, you want to install this washer, cup facing down. Then, want a lock nut. I mean, this may be a little bit trivial for some people. You want the cone on the lock nut facing up, flat going down to make the best contact with what you're working on. Alright, last order of business. You're going to want to take a, I believe it was, there's 17 or 18 up here. Okay, looks like it's going to be 3/4. We're going to do it. Looks like. That's what we were looking for. Yeah, so essentially it's just going to turn. This one's just going to turn this way. Anyways, guys, be mindful. Should be about it. I'm just going to put this wheel back on. We had one other problem, and that was when I took it to the shop, they actually sheared off a stud right here. So I need to find that stud, get it replaced. I'll probably use a air hammer. I'm gonna go ahead and make a quick video of that. Never actually done one before, so that'd be kind of fun. Almost left the tool up there. Anyways, yeah, always check for tools also, guys. I know I heard a couple stories of guys getting like free 12 millimeters here and there, or something crazy like that. So anyways, good luck. If you guys got any questions, or like I said, if you guys end up needing that one video of the 5/8 inch stud, just tell me. I do recommend a grade 8 on that, by the way. Might as well use the best you can get. And lastly, again, make sure you guys do not use the electric hacksaw. Use a hand hacksaw. That's what I suggest, at least. It takes a little bit longer, but I think it'd be worth it in the long run. And while you're holding it, while you're cutting it, probably hold the bottom nut portion of it. So, of the shock, with a wrench down here while you're cutting it. But once you cut that off, guys, it's to the races. So, definitely a good time. Good thing to do at home. Good thing to do. Save yourself a lot of money. Whole lot of money, especially if you break a stud, because nobody's gonna do that bolt trick. I've read about it. If you guys want more people to talk about it, just Google something like Ford shock stud breaking off. Read some of the forums. There's a lot of guys that do it. Read up on it, guys. I mean, don't take my word for it. Get out there and really, you know, figure out what's going on. There's a lot to do on these vehicles. There's a lot you can do. I mean, you guys would be surprised what you can do. I've been surprised what I can do. So anyways, this took me a little bit over an hour and a half. I got 2 shocks on. I've done all the ball joints. That took a lot longer than an hour and a half, but we won't get into that. But yeah, guys, I mean, we're gonna have a good truck, and the thing has 220 something thousand miles on it, but it still runs great. So fix it up, and then you can actually afford it. I mean, you could be like some of these other people that think, you know, oh my gosh, engine's got 100 and something thousand miles on it, gotta get a new one. Well, you can, I mean, if you want, but I mean, sure, if you're here, you're probably not one of those guys. So I mean, especially with corn prices being $3 or less, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, guys. Gotta get out there, gotta fix stuff, or even, you know, if you're not in ag, and just gotta make it happen. Good luck, guys.